precise map to start things off here, and let's see what they can do on Mephisto's map. Good luck, have fun. Round 1 is underway.
Round 1 is underway indeed. Of course, they've been warming up so long here, as well as Kanvolu does fall off to start us off. So it is the three musketeers up in front at the moment. Charles in the lead with Baupro and Gabbo chasing in the wings as well. So we'll see how things go as far as everybody's keeping a nice little distance in that regard. Nothing so fancy here. We go into the checkpoint drift as well here. Looks very clean as well, but we see already Gabbo and Baupro fighting for that spot as well, for that second position. I think this will be the biggest fight of them all, as Charles seems to be enjoying his time while Baupro and Gabbo are. Baupro goes a bit wide and gives the position away. So and hits the light pole as well. I guess that's the top 2 there for now.
Yeah, that's the top 2 for now here on Korean, which is Corsola, so it's a Pokemon. I think from Gen 3, if I recall that correctly. Oh no, Gen 2 actually. Wait, that's Gen 2? Really? I'm not even completely sure. But maybe people in the chat know, but I had from top of my head that it was actually Gen 3. But it's a Pokemon, and we have Mephisto always naming his maps after Pokemon. But there you go, 102.91 is the time. World record is a 102.204. Rightfully already quoted from Kriidy, that it is from Manox, who has, I think, 4 out of 5 world records, or 3 out of 5, something around that. So he has 123,000 points in the campaign. Only Charles is ahead of him. So Charles at least has 2 world records on those maps. So good to see that, and that is also the story for today, of course, in this match, or in this complete competition. Charles versus Manox, Seed 1 versus Seed 2. But right now we have Charles with a mistake, but so many mistakes have happened here. We have Gabinet in the lead right now, battling out with Charles, who's coming back quite nicely after that wonky start. Baupro is quite far behind, as well as Kanvolu. So let's focus on that fight for P number 1, but it seems like
everybody's slowly waking up, it seems as well, because Charles also having a bit of struggle to start off as well, and Gabbo has just flown into the distance. So everybody's having one of the rounds ever at the moment. Gabbo even clips towards the end, but he's far in front as well. Should not miss the finish, and Baupro does come in second as well, with Charles being third, and Kanvolu comes in as well. So 104.5, it is not the fastest rounds time, so we can agree. It's 2 seconds slower than your world record, but you get the jitters out of the way. Maybe they just want to make it a bit more exciting to start off, but we'll see. For the time being, at least, everybody is getting into the groove of it, and Kanvolu having a bit of struggle to get that start going. But at least Charles and Baupro and Gabbo, at least for now, have a start that does not look like your average practice session on the map. So at least we can enjoy that fact. But Gabbo is stuck in a gear hell and also in the wall.
Yeah, gear hells do happen on grass maps, that is for certain, and also not the best transition for Gabbo there, so he will be falling behind, as well as Kanvolu, so they're both out of that fight for first. Charles and Baupro fighting it out. Baupro didn't have the particularly best start, with only quote-unquote 14 points, but of course right now he finds himself in that 3rd position, but can overtake Charles here if he gets his hands on that 1st place. But that doesn't look that good, because Charles is so far ahead, and that looks also like an okay time, as Baupro messes up that line here a little bit, losing some time, 0.3 of a second, just a little bit late of a steering, and also 102.616. Good time from Charles. Baupro getting 2nd place, and I think, like as we were expecting it, it will be a close fight for that 1st, 2nd, and 3rd position.
Yeah, also a very good time as well, 102.6. That is more of a representative time as well. Of course, now that because of the point repetition, they're gonna be remaining rather close as well, because the point repetition, because it was meant for 6 players, it is 10-8-6-5. So they're gonna be sticking rather close to each other as well. So you might be only like a few points ahead, which in one round can just turn and flip you from 1st to 4th. Basically. Well, Kanvolu is struggling a bit as well, but he gets a few starts here right now, and he's able to stick with them. He's just not been able to quite be consistent enough to follow along throughout the entire track, but so far I say that, and immediately then I get proven wrong. Charles also having a bit of trouble as the two Argentinians also in front. Baupro hits the corners were right before the engine off as well, loses a lot of speed as well, so Charles is able to overtake him. So again, a bit of fumbling standing there, but at least, you know, they are trying to keep it as clean as possible and to their best of abilities.
Yeah, but right now the Colombian also makes a mistake by the likes of Charles. So we have two Argentinians in the lead, Baupro and Gabbo right now. So that looks good. But Charles having a good lineup for the end, but needs to rely on a mistake. But that didn't happen. His call didn't get answered. So it is the W for Argentina in this round. 103.98 is also a time that is not that fast. It's okay. I mean, the map is not that easy, of course, as the whole map pack refers to not being that easy. And we are going to the next map, which will be, drum rolls, it is the Clement map. It's Emeralds.
Emerald. I mean, I was looking at this track before. It is, I will say that this is definitely a certified banger. The ending, of course, can be quite an interesting one. I hope nobody has a bit of an incident there, because it is your classic upside down finish, the smallest gap imaginable that you want to jump into. So certainly nobody's gonna hit the finish block. So
I love those
definitely
finishes.
hasn't happened to like the likes of Carl Jr. or Pac, that in likes of different variation of competition, just hitting the finish blocks. You know, even happens to the best of us, basically.
Yeah, but I don't know, like the upside down finish, you can never go wrong with those, to be honest. It's really cool to see them. I always put them as well if I build a map or if I try to make it extra spicy. But there was also this one incident where there was a trial map where you had to like do a, like, I don't know, a bug slide or a nose bug, and then you need to hit that small gap of an upside down finish. And what's even worse, if the upside down finish is not a roadblock like here, but a sausage block. Like, you have no room to work with. So if the mapper wanted to make it extra evil, yeah, just put a sausage block upside down in there and, just enjoy smiley face, right? But the race is starting. Let's go and see what Kanvolu can do here in this first round on this map, as we are starting here, as the server has a little bit of a hiccup, or is it just on my end?
It seems that we have to be waiting for a moment.
Waiting?
Waiting. Oh,
Okay.
all is going well. It's one of those ... moments, and let's just keep on waiting, you know. All is good. In the meantime, actually, a fair point in chat as well is regarding the quarter pipe on the track, as we let everybody slowly join in. Hopefully nobody's having a problem with internet on their end.
It's very long, though. I think
yeah, it is rather long as well, indeed. Definitely somebody forgot to yoink a server from Deep Dip, if anything. But the quarter pipe is also something that was mentioned here in chat as well. That yeah, it's not it's a very easy way to gain time, but a very annoying way to lose as well with any quarter pipe jump, because it can be such a rip event. So for the time being, we just the fun part is I can chat, you know.
I can't do anything. Yeah, it seems like an overflow, it just timed out. Yeah. So I think nothing will happen, and the server's just going to crash, which is very unlucky. Yeah. So I hope everything will be fine and resolved here eventually as well. But in the meantime, well, how was your day, Kriidy?
Overall, it's been rather good. Sort of waiting for my stuff waiting for my stuff to prepare for the Comic-Con, of course, as well, because I haven't been traveling for a long while as well, and so I gotta prepare that as well. Got an appointment for a haircut in the coming weekend as well.
Oh,
so
nice.
got that going as well. Got a fresh trim for the fresh tournament, so you can all wave to each other as well in chat as well. So.
Yeah, I actually I literally just wrote that down on my to-do list to do that on Wednesday before I'm going to leave. That I will just go to my local barber, and I'm be like, yo, give me your best haircut possible. Yeah.
I mean, I usually just go for a classic. I go to the same place every single time, but I always have a different barber. But I tell them basically the same thing every time, no matter what year or what time it is. Only the top part length is where I kind of go a bit different depending on the season. Winter a bit longer on the top. Now with the summer coming, going a bit shorter. Because I don't want my head to be just dripping with sweat in the bucket. But I believe the weather, at least in Lithuania, should be relatively decent. At least it was looking to improve. Will look to be sunny. Oh. That was the longest.
Everyone is finalist.
Everyone is finalist.
This is the last round, guys.
Oh my god, if you look at the leaderboard, it shows everybody's finalist, even me. Let's go.
Well, I'm also finalist. Wow.
Oh,
I'm gonna jump in and I cannot switch to player mode.
I'm gonna jump in. I'm gonna
win this tournament. I'm gonna win the $120.
This is the first time I've seen this as well. I've never seen anything like this.
That's so bizarre. But I think
I'm now interested what happens when the warm-up ends.
The thing is, I think they wanted to fix the problem with the points because the point was 120, right? And they probably wanted to fix it, and now it's 0 or whatever, and everyone is finalist. Maybe
they
or
did
something.
The classic,
maybe they put in too many points. This could have been. Ooh.
I think the problem is that I think you're right. What they did, I think they set the points limit to
like
be
10,000.
low. Or no, not 2,000. They set the points limit to be like that it would count as 0. Even the points are reset
to 1 million
on
or something. Yeah, you just put it to 1,000 or something.
Yeah, and then it was like, and the game is like, wait a minute, but everybody already got points. Everybody gets finalist mode. You get finalist mode. Casters get finalist mode. Anybody who's disconnected gets finalist mode. Everybody's have a great time. Points are reset. I don't know what is going to happen.
Now the point was 1,000. Okay.
Oh, and half the people even get the points.
Maybe they're gonna get added manually, but I mean, I remember that. Also with I think it's the same with the timeout or the timer on the server. Like if you put it up to a certain point, it will not work. So it's overflowing, and this might have been the case. But I think
you are correct with the 1,000 points limit, though.
Yeah, maybe they're listening to the stream. I don't know. You should just be very careful to not add it to 90,000 or something, because 1,000 is well enough, right? So,
I love the fact that only air members got the points. Clearly, it's not rigged or anything. Baupro Kanvolu not part of air. Nope, no points for you. Unlucko malocko, you just 50. Oh, the points are being added. I see them on the live ranking. Wow, that's absolutely on-the-spot changes here, ladies and gentlemen. If you look at the leaderboard, I saw it live happening right there.
Yeah, same. It was a moment that maybe some of you have missed, but it's fine. Everything is good like that, so we're gonna continue here. And did we actually have 5 or 4 rounds on the first map?
It is, I believe it was 5. In regards to the point limit, it makes sense at least, because otherwise they wouldn't have 34 points, I believe. Maybe, because it's hard to say, because Charles was last and first at some points as well. So I could be wrong.
Kanvolu has 20 points, and I think he got last in all of the rounds, and he has 20 points. So 5 times 4, and I do not need to study for that, is 20. I think it was 4 rounds.
Yeah. I mean, I do see in in-game chat as well that they're gonna fix other servers as well. So we are gonna be here for a bit. So, I like how before the match started, Turbo was kind of curious to be like, oh, wait a minute, this tournament's gonna take a bit of a while.
I mean, it's fine, right?
Very much right.
I mean, it's fine as if I can go to bed at 1 a.m., which is in math on stream. I'm not a mathematician, which is 3.5 hours. I was like, okay, this could have been done, but also 2 a.m. would be fine. 3 a.m. would be a bit problematic, but also okay, and the rest is despair. But the later. Wait, why is there a random block there? Why was there a random block? Maybe the production can go into the free camera.
I see it. There's just a random plastic corner block.
The random block.
Why is that there?
That's fun.
CLM.
What is production doing?
Yeah, production going to free cam mode.
You can move the arrow keys.
Arrow keys.
How can you even do that? Okay.
The production we're guiding production to that point. Production, if you can go into free cam on the bottom right as well, you can, or you press 7 and go into free cam mode.
But how did he tilt the camera? He tilted the camera. do that. It's so
you
funny.
can. If you press 7 again, then it should go into alt cam mode. Oh, you're stuck in the position. I think you press the alt key and you lock yourself into position in that regard. So we're letting people know what actually happens. It is the case where you can lock yourself into position and you cannot move no matter
I've never
what.
seen that. I've never seen that.
So yeah. But we are slowly going insane. It's all as well. I like how people even haven't even seen what we were talking about, like the random ass block in the middle of the map. But I see it quite well. If hopefully, well, production guy cannot figure it out, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't let the production guy move the camera. I believe it's the difference between alt camera and because you have alt cam 7 and cam 7.
But you see it from there. You see it from there. Wait.
You have to right-click your mouse, by the way, if you wanna rotate. Oh, but are you holding down something? Oh, I've never seen that.
No, but they see it. They see it there.
Oh yeah, I see it now as
production?
well.
We have the voices in our head, but you see the block there, just there. You see it. There's the lonely block. Right there.
Lonely block there as well. That's odd as well. I've never seen that before. But yeah, CLM, maybe want to update your map, just a random ass plastic corner block is there. I don't even know what it would connect to necessarily. Clearly,
maybe he just put it by
accident. From another map. No,
maybe he just, like, what I know, like, sometimes those things just happen by accident. So
that's
if
true
I,
as well, yeah.
If I, like, I don't know, just try to play something and I place a double, those things just happen, so it can happen. So we're resuming the match. Points are seemingly fixed, but now we're missing a player.
Now Charles is gone. So going good. Everybody's having a great time.
Oh my god, dude, what is going on? 34 minutes into the event and we already becoming insane.
It's fine. Like I said before, let them get this out of the way to start with, and then it's fine. The one thing is good. NA, the North America tomorrow is like you're gonna like noting down like, okay, check this, check that, make sure this works. Points limit, repetition. Yep, check that. That tomorrow we won't look a bit worse for wear. But I mean, these things happen. It's always the things. No matter you think everything is worked fine, you've checked everything, and then you miss one thing, and that breaks pretty much everything.
Yeah, but we're live again. That is the good news here.
Yep.
Yeah. That's the nice message that we have. So we are continuing 4 or 5 rounds. It doesn't matter. We're just gonna play along, right? It is fine. We right now have 2 players from Colombia leading the race here, as you can see. They're doing great. Charles with a good round here, so maybe this map suits him a bit better. And of course, maps can be very important. We talked about it already beforehand. If you're the mapper or if you have a preferred part in one of them, maybe there's an ice part that they can do particularly well, or this quarter pipe jump, which is being very nicely done by Charles. You can really gain time there. So very cool map here. Not that easy, especially there. Everything can go wrong on this one. You can bump away and not get the speed for the risky ending, but Charles does it very nicely and wins the round. Ahead of Baupro, Kanvolu has been fallen behind and gets, unfortunately, another last place.
Yeah, so all things aside, we can now enjoy the action on track as well. And overall, yeah, that was a very solid round by Charles as well. Of course, the world record on the track is by Manox, which is a 54.189. So I guess the rounds time you're looking for is 54 highs would be 54s would be nice. But I guess for Charles at the moment, it is more that you want to have clean driving. Yeah. That is probably the best thing you want to do, especially in this format at the moment. Just get through the maps clean. It's the perfect time for you to sort of, get the warm-up done. This is pretty much pre-warm-up for the double elimination bracket that we are going to go into after all of this. This is the perfect time for the players to, get comfortable with the tracks. Maybe one track didn't feel as good. Get some more time on that, a bit more here as well. So it will feel nice. But Charles is taking the helm here as Cabinet goes a bit too wide, clips the edge before the quarter pipe, and allows everybody else to overtake as Kanvolu and Baupro are the one fighting for second position.
Yeah, it seems like this off-road section with the reactor boost looks really hard because it's very easy to just oversteer and lose control on that one. But Charles now driving your predicted sub 55 or like wished sub 55, which is a good time because the world record is a 54.189 by Manox, as you already said. Nixotica, we've also seen in the chat, greetings to you, mate. We're gonna see you tomorrow in the matches as well. Has the second world record and then half a second behind. We already have a tenth behind, not half a second. That would be a bit too much, to be honest. We have Charles in there, so Charles doing a good job, and this map suits him particularly well, and he could win his third round in a row, as we are seeing him leading again already by 0.15 of a second. Very good line here from the Colombian player. Also, I think first in Colombia when it comes to the trophy ranking, which is very, very important. Yeah, you know, the trophies are a very good skill rating and are definitely not expiring or something like that. I don't even know, like, what do you think about the trophies actually, Kriidy? Do you like them? Because I think they're, like, I don't like that they expire.
I think it's the trophies are fine active meter. If anything, it shows how active you are in Trackmania. As we see, Charles gets a very nice time actually, 54.5 with Baupro and Gabbo as well. I mean, the trophy system is fine. The expiring thing, honestly, I kind of prefer the thing, because that means that somebody can just farm their way through 4 years of Trackmania and be at the very, very top without receiving a single golden trophy, you know, no trophy 7 or, you know, as such, and you can have all the bronzes and silver trophies and you're ranked number 1.
Yeah.
You know, so I prefer the expiring thing. I think it's fine, but you know, people know that the trophy system is more of a nice active beater, basically showing how active you are playing as well. Of course, I have my fair share of trophies as well, but I lack the bronze and silvers. When I look at people who play Cup of the Day quite frequently, they have like tens of thousands of those, and I'm just like maybe a few hundred at best.
Yeah, like Marius, for example, he's very active, but also Hello Mark. They have so many trophies of them, and then there's like, I don't know, like someone like Moda who just has like, how did Charles survive that? Holy moly, who just has like one campaign win and is still ahead of him, right? So it's still very balanced, but also like that's all I mean. It's a bit sad that this kind of big achievement of winning a campaign expires. That's what I mean, right? So,
that's a fair point. I guess you could say that the golden ones shouldn't expire, but the rest could, like silvers and bronzes, you know, that could be an interesting point of discussion. Actually, you know, you get the golden ones to keep, but not the bronze and silvers. Those would expire, you know. You know, could be a fair shout. You get to keep your echelons in that regard, you know. Nadeo, note that down, please. In regards to the next map, we have our Mapper Advantage map, aka Golden Hour by Manox. The only track with water, and definitely, I will say it's one of the tracks that definitely stands out in many regards as being quite basically the biggest clip heaven I've seen in a long while as well. It has so many transition changes, so many surface changes constantly, and the little bumps and everywhere are just gonna lose you a tenth, 1,000 here, and everything there, and that's just. All this track is just absolute clip heaven, but the water, at least it has water, which I prefer as well. It's a very nicely calculated track, but holy moly, it has like a surface change every second.
Yeah, it's such a different take on a multi-style map, because usually you see like a style being held for like multiple seconds, and here's like half a second on the block, boom, you have something else. It's very dang and very hard to really react to stuff like that, especially after the freewheel, the water takes into play, which is all about just finding the right apex in that turn and just getting it across, kind of like a leap of faith, because the car behaves differently underwater or with water wheels, and then the risky ending is just a sneaky jump through a hole, which can also be messed up for sure. So there you go, and we are starting. So it was only 4 rounds per map, but I think also due to the time now, it is fine to have it like this, because we still have 2 maps after that taking place. So let's go into the first round, but also let's talk a little bit about the points, because Kanvolu already a bit further behind. Then we have Gabbo and Baupro with 57 and 62 points respectively, and Charles had a really good last map and already has a good start here again. So it really seems that map 1 certainly didn't suit him that well, but now he's on the roll and being first again.
Yeah, and it is the only Charles is the only person to have a sub 57 time here, a 56.998 A lot of freshly driven times as well, as we see Baupro touching the outside wall as well. So, and it was actually quite recently driven as well by Charles. So definitely has this track on a lockdown, and we see as well very clean lines here as well. And this is where you can see the confidence as well. If you have confidence in your lines, you don't really even have to think about it. It just comes naturally as well. And we see a 57-1, a very good time to start off. Now you can see a person gets into it. You know, the first track wasn't really good representation, but the more you get into it, the more you go into the tracks that you feel more and more comfortable with. That's where the real speed comes into play. And now he's running away with it and leaving Baupro and Gabbo to decide who gets second.
Yeah, that was a really good time here from Charles to start off this map. And let's go into round number 2. So this will mark the halfway point of this first round here, which will determine who goes into the upper and into the lower bracket, because top 2 goes into the upper bracket and bottom 4 in this way. So it would, usually there's 6 players on the server would go into the lower bracket, but 2 players are unfortunately missing. But who certainly is not missing out right now is Charles, who's on another banger of a time. Let's follow him in this round here, because that is just eye candy to watch here from the top Colombian player, currently the leader. And that is also a beautiful outside dirt line, dropping the gear accordingly. And also, I think there was a small brake tab there to just get around that turn nicely.
But he gets
flips out. He gets water, but however, he's still in fight for first, because Gabbo could not capitalize from that. So it's a good fight here for first between Gabbo and Charles. And Charles has a good line, better apex in that turn, and only one jump, and he will win the 6th consecutive round in a row. And he will do so even though he had to respawn. So those things can happen. But yeah, this water turn here, Kriidy, looking very hard, because once you're locked in your steering and your line, you will, if you make a mistake, you will just fly out.
Yeah, it's perfectly calculated that you want to steer at the specific time, because otherwise you're going to go too wide, or you go too early, you're going to hit the wall as Charles did. He went a bit too early and immediately got a wall bonk, flipped out. And that is also very shallow water as well. It's not your usual deep water as well. It's a kind of a block mixing in a way as well. And you can see that it is not your usual water entry that you're normally used to seeing as well. So it's very easy to just bump yourself out of it as well. So, but overall, it's still a very good track as well. But we've seen many times before as well. I already see one case that always has a bit, it grinds my gears a bit as well. People putting, the ground checkpoints where you could perfectly put a gate, and we've already seen people crash into those black parts. It's very easy to go if you want to push a track. And as Gabbo also, Gabbo survives. So
yeah, that was okay.
Yeah, that was okay. But but the checkpoint thing. Oh yeah, that's not too much okay.
Yeah.
But Charles is going well. Certainly he does not miss the finish and gets a respectable time this time around. So all good in the hood in that regard. But yeah, at the moment it's very hard to really say who's gonna take it, because Gabbo and Baupro are sort of neck and neck. Charles is just having a field day now. He's just enjoying probably. I don't know if it's his favorite map, to be honest.
And Kanvolu is in the mud, indeed. But yeah, one could say that this is not a deep dip into the water, no pun intended. And also actually chatting why you're hosting this event when deep dip is taking place. I've seen that message so often in Trackmania events. But well, let's move that out of the way. But yeah, it's a good fight between Baupro and Gabbo right now, that is for sure. But Baupro has the best out of this one in this round here for now, and also is 3 points ahead. So that looks very good. And I mean, Charles is a bit lucky here, I would say, in some of those rounds. But also Gabbo was able to move along, because if you can abuse the plastic, even if you make a mistake, and then just not slow down that much. And yeah, well, because on plastic, if you hit it with fully acceleration, you will not slow down, which will just change the movement, the momentum into the other direction, but you will not get penalized or slow down. And Baupro, with a very wide setup, has much more speed than Charles, but it will not work out, but still gets himself that second position that he's in need of. And well, Charles up to 112 points. It's safe to say that he is almost certainly making it into that first position. But of course, we still have 2 maps left here, Kriidy. But Baupro and Gabbo are still fighting it out for P2.
Yeah, they are going. I mean, it was very much a golden hour for Charles there, but we move on to the next track. And no, this is not Emerald, which looks very much similar because it's all green. But we are moving on to the next track in the building, which is, of course, Saltaire by Casidus. Sorry, that's how I call his name. I don't know if there's a specific way to name this mapper. Casidus is one way of saying.
Castidius, maybe?
Cassidius, also a fair point. Could be. But overall, this is one of those more simpler maps. It is a very wide platform. I will say it's probably one of the, on the surface, looks to be one of the easier maps because it has a lot more longer straights, a lot more time for you to set up before the turns as well. It has much more wider lines to take as well. And when I was looking at it as well, I was looking at, damn, this is going to be a rather fast and a rather pacey map as well. But we'll see if that actually comes into fruition as well. Because, yeah, as I said, longer straights. But of course, Gabbo finds a way to hit a wall as well in warm-up. But we'll see how things will go. A decent map, I will say. Definitely a good map. This ending, there's actually 2 lines for that dirt section, actually. I've seen it as well. Some people go inside, some people go outside dirt there. So interested to see. Very equal in time as well. But I believe the outside line is just a smidge faster.
Yeah, the outside line is always superior. But yeah, this really is it looks like a very basic map, also from the top view. You know, very linear in that way, but it is not. Because for me, it sometimes has a mixture of like having very, very wide, precise lines, especially in the middle of the map, and then this tight start section. And then I think 2/3 into the map, we have seen, I think it was Gabbo crashing in there. You know, this tight entry into that next turn combination. So it can be very tricky for the players to just deal with that. And also here, Gabbo almost clipping there because he overjumped that sector. But the sector I was talking about will come up here very soon after that left-hander here. We go a little bit up, a little bit more speed, and then you have this plastic sector into another dirt sector where you can either go outside or not. But now that's the sector that I mean. This is like much tighter than you think. And like if you have to readjust, Gabbo lose a lot of speed, and just shows that how important that turn is, how you have to predict that line. And then here again, another outside turn. Charles does that very nicely, and Baupro is just behind. But Gabbo with a good amount of speed, but will not overtake. 57.058 is the time. World record of 56.822. So another good time from Charles, shows that he's ready to make it into the grand final and just redeems himself as one of the favorites. But of course, he still has to win this match and then has to win the winner bracket semifinal, which would come up after that if he gets first or second place here.
Yeah, that's definitely true indeed. I mean, it is one of those cases Charles definitely has found his comfort. It is more Gabbo and Baupro who are still finding their footing slightly bit here as well. We see that Baupro has taken a slight edge for the time being, as predicted at least from my end. Charles has a bit of a clip. We didn't quite catch what exactly he clipped there, but he's clipped enough that he was able to slow down and give the 2 Argentinians a fight up front, and he's a good spectator to watch all of that unfold up in front here. As we go into the latter sections of the track, very tight as well. Charles sets up for a lot more speed.
Wow.
Oh, that is a bit too much. The sausage does fling you out if you have too much speed, but he's able to hold on. But Baupro and Gabbo fighting up in the front. Gabbo has more speed, but not close enough to really get there, and takes more points than Gabbo at the moment. Gabbo needs to get those 1v1s against Baupro done if he wants to get that second position sorted out. Otherwise, he's just gonna just trickling those points away, or now 9 points away, and it's pretty hard to catch up with this points repetition as well.
Yeah, that's for sure. This point repartition is very punishing. If you don't drive consistent and just got occasional good positions. And right now, Baupro just wins every individual 1v1 against Gabbo, and it really shows in the standings. 9 points is a lot. That is like 2 rounds that you need to get first, and your opponent needs to get into last position. Then you're only 1 point ahead of them, and then the next round is just a completely different ballpark. So it's literally half a map. So this is 10% of a match, and that is like a lot, let's say like that, just for 9 points, if everything aligns for you. Right now, Charles is ahead again, Baupro ahead of Gabbo, so the individuality right now looking good for Baupro, but now Gabbo finds a way in due to a mistake from Baupro, and Charles with a beautiful outside dirt line, Gabbo as well, and this could be a good time from Charles. Let's see what it will be. And I think with that, it's also safe to say, wow, 56.985. That is really fast. Only 0.16 away from the world record. But I think that's safe to say that Charles will, like, almost certainly takes that top seat, because he's 25 points ahead and he just needs to finish up until this point. Or just, you know, I'm not sure if he will get last in all of the remaining rounds.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't really have to too much effort. I think if anything, at the moment, if you're in such a comfortable position, if anything, you can you know you're fast, so now you can sort of work on your more consistent lines, what feels comfortable. Of course, as I always say, the most comfortable line is the most riskiest line, because that's the one you're pushing most of the time, and that usually feels the most right. But that is always an easy thing to say in the moment, especially if you stray away from it, then all of a sudden your brain has a confuzzle. Two brain cells cannot collide together, and all of a sudden you forget how you've driven, that you have played this game for eons, and then all of a sudden you forget what is left and right as Charles hits the wall, but somehow doesn't get that much of a penalty out of it as I thought he would. Maybe it was just a quick bump there. Baupro wasn't really able to get close enough to get much, but he's just racking it. Was it actually a wall touch there, to be honest?
I'm not sure. It looked like
it looked so close to the wall, though.
Yeah, like also in the side sector that I was talking about, it looks like that they get gaining grip a little bit in some of that section. But I want to pick up what you said, and it sounds very contradicting at the start. But once you think about it for a bit longer, it makes complete sense with that the best line for you is the riskiest line, because sometimes you don't know how to save, and we have seen those kind of things, and then you just get nervous because your resources are not just, you know, you think about it, what you're doing. So it's actually better to sometimes not think about it and just stick to the plan, maybe take it a bit safer, but just not go off by a complete block length or something like that, right? Else you will be in the mud. All right, we have another map by Stokine and Zengo. So Stokine, who also asked us for tomorrow's event to cast it, and we will be also doing it together with another colleague of us, which is none other than Nua Lake. So I'm already looking forward to the nice jokes that we're gonna have together with him. So Kriidy, Nua Lake, and me will be casting tomorrow for the NA event, which also shares some of the maps of this map pack. And there you go. So Zengo and Stokine. Zengo, a very good player, I think from Team 300. I'm not sure if he has built that ice part or not.
Well, we'll see here that much. I mean, I would predict that Stokine was the man to build the ice section. Of course, we can later ask that in that regard as well. But I mean, it's hard to say. It's one of the, of course, this is our token one ice light track, of course, as we mentioned before, by Cerveza. By Stokine and Zengo, and it's interesting to see. What I always love to say is two comments in regards to the part what you mentioned in regards to when you need to start thinking when you're driving. I remember there was a good saying when I was doing my mandatory military training. One of the commanders simply said, "If a soldier starts drinking, then it's already gone wrong." Basically, and in regards to the yeah, pretty much the same goes with a lot of the esports and sports in general. You are focused to do what you're supposed to do, but if you start thinking anything else, then it already becomes, you gotta start thinking outside the box, start thinking more, and you're not really focusing on your performance, you're trying to focus on how to survive, or you get to a better position, for example, or, you know, you're third, you want to push for second, and you gotta start thinking these little things. And you forget the small little details. But the good thing about this ice section is ice is the great equalizer. And Gabbo finds the wall, so he's the first victim. And Charles is enjoying his time gathering these first positions and not allowing many people to collect points. But Baupro is the one to get second position and only gets further away from Gabbo.
Yeah, that's so important. But of course, sometimes you have to react to certain things or just have to come up with an idea. But that, of course, also implies that you're able to have the resources and handle the pressure, right? You know, those are just things that you have to consider. But it's very complex because I think like nerves and everything like that is a huge aspect in esport, but also in Trackmania. Because, like, for example, me, if I play Cup of the Day or whatever, I get nervous so quick. And then I cannot live up to my performance. But sometimes there are days where I just perform better and better. And well, just don't think at some point is good, but you know, let's just think about like some of the like most pressured rounds that you've had. You just think about every move that you make, even though you don't want to make a mistake. And that is just so like it's so weird because you don't want to mess up, but you think about messing up and then you mess up more, right? I don't know.
Yep.
It's so weird and interesting, you know. But there you go. And right now, Gabbo again finding the great equalizer, as you have rightfully said. And I think with that, the match is also decided because Baupro gets another second place behind Charles. And there you go. I think Baupro is through with that. He just has to finish a couple of rounds. Because, you know, we only have 2 rounds left. It's not possible anymore. It was Gabbo's last call. And the seeding is already decided here on the server. We still have 2 rounds, though, for players to be played. Kanvolu, unfortunately, didn't play a role, but also goes up to 90 points, which is not too bad. So, glad that he is able to find some points in this match.
Well, theoretically, there is a possibility that Gabbo gets 2 second positions. Baupro doesn't win it, finish a single round from now on, and all will be well, and Gabbo will get second.
Yeah,
and Baupro is doing a perfect case of making it as complicated as possible. For example, he is actually in last, but Gabbo cannot do reactor penalty grass, so it's looking likely to be a rather a jover for him. But that's the case as well. But going back to the previous point, I will say sports psychology is definitely a very interesting topic, no matter what sports it is, and it will always play a role. Even, for example, when you look at from a standpoint of Gabbo as well, I see people saying in Twitch chat as well, Gabbo on ice, aware and stuff like that, and no. So people probably know that Gabbo maybe is not so, you know, comfortable on ice as well. That can also play a little role in this regard as well. But there was a good fight actually between Baupro and Kanvolu, like neck and neck to the line, and Kanvolu was almost able to overtake Baupro in the end, but not quite. Gabbo is 4th, but it only solidifies the fact that that Charles and Baupro will be moving up to the winner bracket side, with Gabbo and Kanvolu going to the lower side. But we get a bit of a token round, of course, here as well.
So Gabbo had a really good eyesight actually when I was spectating him. It looked really clean. But of course, the positions are set in stone. But yeah, sports psychology, definitely a very interesting topic and something that I also want to dig deeper into. Because, you know, how can it be that someone like Muda or like, I don't know, Granadi can just perform so well under pressure, and then you sit here and you just like shit your pants, just to say it like that, of course, in-game, when you just play a cup of the day round or something like that. It's just so interesting. Of course you grow into that, but there has to be like some sort of mindset that you do not have that they have. Like, it's very interesting. But there you go, Charles also in a good time. I mean, we also did not talk about the world record on this map here, actually. So let's actually do that, because it's a 54.581 by none other than Charles, who also drove a 0.8 already. Maybe this time will be even faster. Let us see. It will be a 55.12. Still very nice. Gabbo is behind, but too late to answer the call. Baupro's on 3rd. And then we have Kanvolu, who will be finishing because of the very large or high finish timeout on P number 4, 15 seconds behind, but still up to 101 points, so not too bad. 188 for Charles, winning it all here. Then Baupro getting 2nd after a 3rd seed. And then we have Gabbo on P number 3, unfortunately dropping into the lower brackets.